So she's asking about the one is stopping thoughts. When you meditate, you're having one object, and then basically the rest of other thoughts will not come. And she used the word suppressing. Actually, not suppressing. It's basically non-distractive state of the mind. Mind is just with one object. With that, having a one object, there will be no space for other thoughts to come in. So that's why it's called a non-distractible state of the mind. That's called a samatha. So there's no distraction at all. You have full control of the mind. You focus on this object, and nothing will invade. Now the second, she asked, if we are practicing the insight meditation, the vipassana, so-called knowing things as they truly are, it has to have the thought coming in. Otherwise, if mind is simply focusing on one thing, is not good.
Purification doesn't happen.
Purification doesn't happen. Is that true? So that's her question. Now I can turn to today's topic on that. So we have been studying, it's called 7 purifications, starting from purification of morality, purification of mind, and the third one is purification of our view. And the fourth one is purification of our doubts. And then move on to rest of other three. So the rest of our three, like after there is no doubt, then we know which path to follow, and then how to follow, and then once we have worked on it, and then we will gain the knowledge. So these are the 7 purifications. Now, when we meditate, first, how do we observe the breath? How do you observe the breath? I am observing breathing in and breathing out, right? Or I am observing rising and falling of abdomen. When it rises, I am observing rising, I am observing falling. That's the beginning of the practice. Where does it lead? Have you ever questioned, where does it lead? Or just do that, and that's how I'm meditating. And then when we meditate, oh, this is just it. Now, when we meditate that, let's say breathing in and out, or rising and falling of abdomen, concentrating on, let's say rising in, now this time, for this purification of the view, I prefer to the rising and falling of abdomen. So when you're observing the rising and falling of abdomen, every time when you know that, there is no other thoughts come in. I am observing that this is rising. This is falling. So because mind is constantly engaged with that, the other thought will not come. When other thought comes, now here the trick says, leave this rising and falling of abdomen. The one that we have been observing, rising and falling of abdomen, leave it, and then observe the thought or a distraction. That, let's say, the sound, hearing the sound, listening the sound. I am listening the sound now. I hear the sound. Okay, and then here, when I hear the sound, what we normally practice, are we listening to it or are we hearing it? Our practice is hearing, 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 not listening. Okay? hearing as just the sound I am hearing, not listening that what kind of a sound, who is talking, what the story is about. Just the hearing. And after we notice that hearing, at least about 3 or 4 times, then we technically we train ourselves to come back to the rising and falling of abdomen again. So leaving that, coming again. What's happening now? What's happening? Early on, when we practice samatha or the calming meditation, distraction is a troublemaker. Sometimes it's also known as hindrances. So it's a troublemaker. So we try to reject as much as possible. Now here in the practice of insight meditation, these distractions are friends, not a troublemaker. Right? And by observing that, now we hear and hear and hear and come back to the rising and falling of abdomen. In that moment now, even the rising and falling of abdomen, we are not observing it as I am watching or I am observing this rising and falling of abdomen. Yeah? Here we are simply observing rising, falling. There is no I. Okay? There is no I am doing. There is just a phenomena that's happening and I am aware of it. Okay? So with that, what happens here, that the phenomena, everything that's happening, not only the abdomen rise and fall, everything that's happening is just a phenomena that's taking place. And we become an observer and aware of that this is happening. Okay? So when we are observing that again and again, what happens? The sound that we hear, also just the hearing, not I am hearing the sound. Okay? And then let's say not a sound, pain in our body. Pain occurs in your legs or in your back. When you have a pain, initially, my knee has got this pain. Yeah? We recognize pain with part of our body. Knee or the back or the shoulder or the legs. Right? My knee, my leg, my back. And then later on what happens as we practice, rather than my knee, it's just a pain, just a sound, just a thought. Okay? Just a thought. And then that's how we observe it, as just a thought or this hearing, the sound or the pain. Not my pain, not my knee pain. Okay? So with that, what happens now? We are observing the phenomena that arises for some time and then it's going to change anyway. Sound won't last long. Thought won't last long. It's going to change. Pain won't last long. It's going to change. Now we see the change here. Now when we see the change, and then here, again, what happens that the observer and observed will become a more visible now. Yeah? We are observer, and then things being observed, not taken as a subjective, but taken it as objective. I am observing this. Yeah? There's objective observation there. So with that objective observation, what happens is that your mind is open now, open to everything, not stick to anything, open to everything. And that's I normally call letting the senses to work. So you open your senses rather than closed. So you open your senses and let it wander, but not letting it wander like you don't know at all. Right? So here, then when we become observer of whatever things are happening here. when whatever things are happening here, but we have become observer at this time, then we realize that there is I am observer, yeah, and then this object being observed. Now this object won't last long, so I am too. My observation is also won't last long, right? So this is how it moves on to the single matter of observing the one single object. It goes on in that process. Then let's say one single observation you can define in two ways now. Let's say the sound that we hear, that sound is known as a material form, right? Material form. And then we observe it. So the observer becomes the mind form. So separation here. Mind and form. Two things occur now. Okay? Sorry. So there is a mind and there is the material form. So this is how you will be able to see the difference. And this difference you can notice because this object, the sound that we hear, the thought that arises, the pain that we observe, these are all, again, just outer things that's there to be observed, yeah? And based on other factors there. So we see that this again changes. When it changes, our mind that observing, that also changes. The observer also changes too. Okay? So that's how you see the two different things now, mind and a matter. Yeah? So mind and a matter, two different things appears now. When we see these two, mind and a matter two appears, and then again, initially we were observing the object, the material form. Now we are not observing that anymore. We will be more focusing on the observer itself. Because when we are observing the mind, the material form, or the sound, the thoughts, the pain and so on, the heat or other phenomena, we become aware that these won't last long. It's changing every time. It's always changing. Now and then it's changing. And as soon as it changes, our mind finds something else and goes on to something else like that. So then we see that we don't need to worry about the material form anymore, the objects. We don't need to worry about objects anymore. So we come back to the mind itself. So we become an observer of observing mind itself. Okay? Now this time again, the mind becomes sometimes can be very still, and just settled there, and that state sometimes also known as the state that is moving nowhere. I believe you're talking about that state, or even the beginning when you are having a concentrated mind, you just focus on nothing comes, and then again obviously you can't improve understanding other awareness. But this is also another stage comes, the stage that mind simply settles there, that mind just become, it's called the equanimous states of the mind. Here again we have to watch this equanimous mind, that I am having this calm mind, I am having this equanimous mind, and a still mind, like that. And when we look at that still mind, there is a contentment, there is a satisfaction, there is a joy. As a result, our mind is in that state.
Faith arises as well?
Sorry?
Faith arises as well, or
Yeah.
just like automatic?
these will enter that state. So this is how we see in the meditation, and then when we see that, and that's how we purify our views on the things. Until we see this, we have the perception of me, mine, I am, ego, conceit, and status, and all sorts of things are there, will create. And we create this personality view, and that's why we cannot give up of our identity. Identity that I am Louis, I am Scottish, I am British, I am Christian, I am a teacher, I am mother, I am sister, I am manager, I am monk, like that. So we have that attachment, we perceive in it because we haven't understood the reality of ourselves yet. We haven't seen the true identity, that how I am. But we normally see it from these outer layers, that this is me, this is I am. And with that, so our view is always limited from certain angles only. It's like maybe Lynn knows when you go on a race, and the horses will have like this. You have to close the side views because horses can see all around, right? So you have to put this so that it only focus on that. So we have to take out that from our mindset. Then we understand that our own self actually is made of two main things, the mind and the matter. And we hardly know about our mind. We only observe this body as certain things, this and that, and we hold on to it. And in the practice we see that this is not supposed to be Nepalese, man, British, monk, but rather seeing it as this mass molecule that come together making this fat monk. So that is the reality. So there is no identity at all. But this identity we put because of that the limited view that we have. And with the practice, we see it in that way, then there is no you and me, there is no differences based on any backgrounds. I only see that, okay, I am a human, you're a human. That's it. And then from there, we also are able to see even that my mind, I think that I know, which I don't. And then we see that this is also made of so many other things. I think I am, but actually I am not. So there is a I am, not me. Like that. So we see that, and then how we normally in day-to-day life, you can think about yourself too. Normally, how do we define that I know? Well, normally we define by our feelings. Normally we define things by our perceptions, and how it changes. And we think that this is what I am. This is what my mind is, like that. So we are able to see that actually these are not. These are not. These are simply condition created. If nothing conditioned things there, then what it is? It's just like it is. So we are able to see that. And that's how we purify our view on ourselves. And then also about the other things. When we are able to purify that, now in an ultimate sense, that is the ending of Buddhism actually. That's the end, the goal. of a Buddhism. But here, the third stage, it's just like you got the certificate to drive a car. Doesn't mean you know how to drive a car. So it's like, okay, now I know how to drive a car. I can tell you my story. In 2012, I learned how to drive a car. So I got the driving license, and one Malaysian family offered me a car. Old Volkswagen green car. I think Lynn may have seen that one. Yeah. So I was driving that car. And then 2012, summertime, I went on camping for 1 week, right? So I came to West Hill first to collect the tent from Rudy, and then drove up and the Kiengrong mountain, right? And I thought, this mountain is so high, I better change to the higher gear and go as fast as possible. And I went so fast, after a couple of yards, rather than going up, it's coming down. I didn't know. I was panicked what to do. So I just brake and then turn the engine off. And then I start again. Okay, let me try. If I can't go, then I can go back. So I start, change to gear 1, and it went up. So that's how this third level is about. You have a certificate to drive a car, doesn't mean you know how to drive. And so that's how, then from there, we know that now whatever any doubts about these phenomena are, it will go away, and then we will be finding a right path to practice meditation. So that's why the third, this purification is the purification of the view, is about clearing our perceptions about ourselves, our own body, our own mind. That these are actually condition created, it's always changing. An inability to accept the change causes a problem. But if we understand the changing nature, then why worry? It's all coming to end anyway. And that's the beginning of the further journey. Okay? I stop here. Actually, I thought that I will keep open other things before I go away, but I went into the talk again. Okay, anything before we practice loving kindness meditation? Right. Just an announcement that this 6th and 7th of this weekend, there will be a monk, Sri Lankan monk, coming and giving a talk in single language. Not sure there will be an interpreter. Is there? Okay. So. So if you're interested to come and just nosy nose, so come and and join. Okay, and obviously, I think for the 21st, and David already sent an email to reserve the seats. Okay, right. With this, and I'm away on Monday. Right. In the meantime, when I'm away, make sure you look after monks and the temple. Okay. Right. Let's practice loving kindness meditation to finish off. spend some time to observe yourself, relax. And spend some time reflecting on tonight's discussion. Now we'll practice loving kindness meditation. So bring your attention to your body. Feel the sensations in your body and to your hands. Feel the sensations in your hand and to your heart. Feel the beating heart. You may put your right hand on your heart area or physically smiling to feel the connection with your heart. As you feel the connection with your heart, generating loving kindness and compassion to yourself. May I be well. May I be liberated, liberated. Similarly, sharing loving kindness and compassion to all other sentient beings, starting from near dear one, or any particular person that you think they need the most, bring it to your mind and sharing this loving thoughts. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be free from suffering. May you be at peace. May you be free from troubles of body and mind. May you be liberated, liberated. And extending this loving thoughts to all other sentient beings, far and wide, visible and invisible beings, whatever beings there are. May they be well. May they be happy. May they be free from suffering. May they be free from troubles of body and mind. May they be liberated, liberated. Now bring your attention back to your hands. And to your body. And to your eyes. Feel the tensions in your eyes. And creating intention to open your eyes as you hear the gong. Let's do the chant. Page 200. May I abide in well-being, in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May all beings, wherever they may be, who like us experience aging, illness and death, be free.
Light and well-being, be free from enmity and danger. May they live in peace and safety.
Be free from mental and physical harm. May they be free from ill will and hatred. Be free from suffering, fear and distress. May their bodies and minds be at ease. May they care for themselves with wisdom. May they maintain their happiness and well-being. To those who are suffering, may they be released from pain. May they find healing, happiness and peace. To those who are already well and happy, may their well-being grow and continue. May their joy deepen and expand. To all beings seen and unseen, whether born of the womb, from eggs, from moisture, or spontaneously arisen, May they rejoice in the merits we have generated on this occasion, and may they ultimately attain the supreme peace of Nibbana. Nibbana pacayo hotu. May this be a condition for the attainment of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu anumodhami. Let's pay respect. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Swakhado Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Subhadivando Bhagavato Savaka Sangho Sanghang Namami. Okay.